I've been reading up on drones this week, doing some research in advance of the show, and here's a couple of not so usual applications for them. A company called Burrito Bomber has outlined plans to become the world's first Mexican food delivery service. The drone literally drops a delicious burrito by parachute to your location. And in the geekiest of geekiest nuptials, a man had a drone descend upon his girlfriend with a diamond ring as his proposal. It's like a little alien, she said, presumably referring to the messenger and not the message, because nothing says I love you more than a remote-controlled flying robot. Welcome to the New Business Briefing from The Advertist. The clock is ticking, the bell is rung for another 10 minutes of talking points for agencies and new business people. I'm your host, Keith Smith of The Fuel Podcast, and with me is Donna Smith, editor of The Advertist. Hello, Donna.
Hello, Keith.
And what sector are we focused on this time?
We are working on transportation and logistics.
Lovely. Thank you, Donna. So let's get cracking with a few relevant transportation and logistics news headlines and people moves, courtesy of agency new business development platform, The Advertist. According to Age UK, in the next 10 years, 1/5 of the UK's population will be over 65. The 85 plus age group is the fastest growing and is set to double to 3.2 million by mid-2041 and treble by 2066. And logistics company Clipper reckons that market will be worth up to £2.5 billion per annum. So it's a smart move for Clipper to acquire Whippet Limited. Whippet is about to launch a B2B online marketplace this autumn, targeting buyers from the elderly care market alongside vendors who sell to more than 5,500 care homes across the UK. Clipper Logistics said it expects revenue for this year of £698 million. That's growth of 39% on last year, crediting this to organic growth and new contract wins and the structural shift to online. Now, this next story just goes to show you how ahead of its time the old school daily milk delivery service used to be. The United Kingdom has the most developed online grocery market in Europe, with 6.5 to 6.9% overall penetration in 2020. One firm that focuses on reducing plastic waste during grocery delivery is the Modern Milkman, the UK-based company that started as an online milk delivery service and now has also started grocery delivery. They've developed innovative ways to package fresh groceries and reuse packaging, and we see a return of the good old glass milk bottle, the ultimate recyclable, hygienic, low-waste packaging. Proving that if you get up early, you get ahead of the competition. The company has just picked up £5 million funding to create over 1,000 jobs in the UK and help save 282 million plastic bottles from landfills by the end of 2024. Right now, the company employs around 150 head office staff and over 300 milkies. Since its launch, the company has helped reduce more than 187 tonnes of single-use plastic waste, which is equivalent to over 31,000 wheelie bins of plastic saved. Right now, the company operates in Lancashire, Yorkshire, Greater Manchester, Stafford, Merseyside and now Wales, and the company is looking to become the nation's favourite and fastest milkman in the West. You heard it here first in The Advertist. Okay, now I'm going to seamlessly hand over to Donna so she can tell you all about some people moves.
Thank you, Keith. Leading parcel delivery company DPD UK has appointed Elaine Kerr as CEO with effect from the 1st of June. Elaine has worked for DPD over 28 years in a number of roles, including her most recent role as Director of CRM. DPD has been voted top in Money Saving Expert's consumer satisfaction poll for parcel delivery companies 8 years running now. International supply chain solutions provider Logentia has promoted Kelly Hobson to Group Marketing Director and Laura Ratcliffe to Group Marketing Executive, while rail freight company GB Rail Freight has brought in Seema Kotecha as Head of Communications and Marketing. Seema joins from Lendlease, where she was Head of Corporate Affairs.
Thanks very much, Donna. And if you subscribe to The Advertist, you'll get over 200 people moves every month, as well as all the latest tenders, mergers, acquisitions, spin-outs, crowdfunding, VC funding, MBOs, MBIs, and lots of contact data for your next new business outreach. Just call the team on 0203 356 3717 or email hello@theadvertist.com for more information and a free trial. And now, live from London, is our leading research agency wizard, Vic Horton, a hunter-gatherer of industry intel to help power your new business presentation research. When it comes to research, use Vic's. He'll help you breathe more easily. Hi, Vic.
Hi, Keith. How are you doing?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. Enjoying the weather.
Good stuff. And as we're talking about transportation and logistics in this show, are you planning any summer travel over the next few weeks?
No, simply because I'm feeling a bit antsy about crowds. If anything, it'll be a short UK hotel break. But flying or taking the train just feels yucky.
Now, and as soon as summer's over, we'll all start to turn our attention to winter, and more specifically Christmas and Santa. And the other magic of Christmas comes from the companies that move our parcels and food around, the logistics sector. So with that in mind, what have you got for all our agency friends out there?
Buying behaviour during the pandemic has been the topic of rich speculation and judgment. Think of the disapproval projected towards those whose panic buying turned a manageable situation into an absurd one. And then, a year later, people whose desperation to travel abroad has driven them to what appears to be the rash action of booking ahead with perhaps optimistic foresight, but may be doomed to end in cancellation, stranding, or a personalised quarantine. These examples suggest ignorance of the mysteries of the goings-on behind the facade of consumerism. It's odd considering the increasing transparency of supply chains. This transparency has been a critical factor for those brands making ethical claims. How was this product made? Who picked the raw materials? Did they get fairly paid? Is it locally sourced? So there is a certain appreciation of logistics behind the supply of everyday products and services. To touch on an idiom, we want to know how the sausage was made. However, retail proved to be something of a blind spot. As shelves suddenly became emptied of toilet rolls, news crews around the world scrambled to the warehouses supplying those stores, to be treated to tours by puzzled depot managers showing stacks of different ambient products stretching into the golden distance. Perhaps in the background there was a 0 hours contractor driving a forklift truck carrying the Ark of the Covenant across one of the aisles, ignored because the focus was on the coveted toilet rolls packed on groaning shelves in the foreground, ready to go. This was the simple story. If shoppers acted normally, there was plenty to go around. Out of nowhere, the usual task of getting the products to where they needed to be became a challenge. Inevitably, shopping online became the pandemic's big winner. At least it was for those that got it right behind the scenes. Extra demand caused by the pandemic was a threat to logistics networks. To avoid being overrun, they had to invest not only for dealing with capacity, but to ensure customer and staff safety. But thinking that the pandemic forced a sudden evolutionary change on the logistics business is wrong. When Canvas 8 interviewed Ken Allen, the CEO of DHL e-commerce last year, he insisted that the problem the industry is facing isn't a business problem, but a virus problem. It is not a good time to start thinking about redesigning supply chain networks, but instead working out how businesses can work at maximum efficiency and capacity with what they've got. That may explain why supermarkets like Sainsbury's and Asda are already closing customer fulfillment centres in favour of a more distributed model using their frontline stores, even if customers don't like sharing the shop floor with staff picking items to satisfy online orders. Those customer fulfillment centres represent a part of the business of which there is low public awareness. Sometimes referred to as dark stores, this sinister sounding label is also applied to businesses with their own inventory, but no storefront presence, who deliver directly to customers. A recent Canvas 8 study into the viability of delivery-based businesses pointed out that such dark stores have a problem with branding. A similar concept, dark kitchens, such as those unbranded restaurants operated by Deliveroo, are at risk of being maligned as soulless food logistics operations. Dark stores exist because of the same-day delivery that consumers have been trained to expect. After all, nearly half of online shoppers are Amazon Prime members. Remember that Amazon had the luxury of years of investment developing its same-day delivery business. Customers' expectation of instant satisfaction has been a big ask for other firms during the pandemic. So let's see how that develops as the race for the last mile hots up. The likes of DHL and Deliveroo still depend on real humans in vans, but prepare to encounter small semi-autonomous robots trundling up your driveway.
Fantastic. I talked about drones right at the top of the show. And, when I was doing my research, I came across this quote from the US tech news site GeekWire from back in 2013. They said, "Let's get real for a moment. The idea of having packages delivered by drone-based airdrop is pretty ridiculous." So that's just 8 years that drones have gone from ridicule to reality. It's pretty impressive. Okay, well, given the pandemic, I think I prefer a drone to drop off my Amazon orders. How about you?
Well, if it just drops it in the garden, then yes, I tend to favour eBay for small items because they fit in the letterbox. But it's like having to hair down the stairs from my home office to answer the door, while our 7-kilo rescue maniac nips at my ankle. So I really don't want to answer the door, basically during the day. So yeah, I'll be happy enough for a drone to drop off my orders.
Good stuff. Well, to avoid me droning on, and before we buzz off, if any of our friends out there are interested in getting in touch with you, what's the best way, Vic?
Email me at victor.horton@vhinsights.com.
That's fantastic. My deep thanks to you, Vic, for all your hard work and tip-top research. Cheerio, my friend.
Cheerio.
So that wraps it up for another new business briefing brought to you by The Advertist. Don't forget, if your agency needs insight, data, people moves, tenders and new business intelligence every day, contact the team at The Advertist on 0203 356 3717 or email hello@theadvertist.com or visit www.theadvertist.com for more information. Thanks to Donna Smith and Vic Horton for their hard work. But for now, this is me, a Smith called Keith, signing off until next time on The Advertist's New Business Briefing.